Hey guys, my name's Catherine Shelton and I wanted to make a video to talk about coaching. This video is really going to focus on coaching in the context of Amazon selling, but I think it kind of applies to anything, any business activity where you're thinking about hiring a coach. And I hope that this video actually appeals across the board, that it has something to say to anyone who is thinking of hiring a coach, who wonders whether a coach is of any use to them or whether they need a coach at all, anyone who's wondering what a coach can do for them. And I also hope that this video might have something for coaches themselves, because I'm going to talk about different coaching styles and how those interact with different types of clients. So I'm hoping there might be something useful in this video for everyone. So let's talk about things. I'm primarily myself, so let's do a disclaimer before I start. I've been an Amazon seller for about 2 to 3 years. I have recently started coaching people here and there. It's not something I do as a main job. If people come to me and they ask for my help and I think it's a good fit, I think I can help them, then I do take on coaching clients, but it's not something that I'm really advertising or focusing on at the moment. So hopefully this is kind of unbiased, and I can look at the different styles of coaching without sort of trying to sell my own services or anything like that. So coaching was kind of new to me when I moved to the US. It's something that I've discovered fairly recently, I guess. I went to business school in the UK, so I have an MBA in business, but the focus there is in consulting. And usually in the UK you just hear about business consultants, management consultants, and we don't really have the word coaching. So it was kind of a new learning experience. I'm seeing people say, hey, can I get coaching? Or talking about their coach, and I'm like, I thought coaching was a sports thing. Like, what can a coach actually do? So hopefully I'm going to cover that. Let's take a step back. And I want to talk about a little bit of leadership theory. So with anything management oriented, they tend to like spectrums. They like things where there's an extreme at this end and an extreme at this end. And leadership is no exception. Leadership in management terms is divided into 2 ends of the spectrum: transformational leadership and transactional leadership. And I'm going to describe the extremes of both sorts of those leadership styles. So here's your transformational leader. Transformational leader is all charisma. Think big teeth, think big smiles, think positive thinking, think Tony Robbins, think charisma and innovation and creativity, the kind of person that leaves you thinking, wow, the world is just full of opportunity. There is so much out there to see and do, and it's someone who just inspires you and motivates you and makes you want to go out there and do things and see the blue sky thinking. Transformational leadership tends to have very much a focus in ethics, in ideals, higher ideals, and creativity and innovation. It's all about change and growth. A transactional leader is like your VP in a cubicle farm office. They're the kind of person that says, hello Dave, here's your 10 pieces of paper for the day. Please go and fill out those 10 pieces of paper and stamp them, and when you've done that I will give you your paycheck and maybe a $5 Starbucks card. Which is nice, which is very functional. It's very much focused in processes and systems. It's very much focused around get this task done and you will be rewarded in this way. It's focused in self-interest and definitely just following a system and getting a reliable outcome. And it's about keeping the status quo going, keeping everything running along like clockwork. And it's easy to kind of divide these into like good and bad. Like, hey, the transformational leader, that person is a good guy or a good lady. They're inspiring everyone and growing everyone. And the transactional leader is like a bad person who's all about the man. And it doesn't quite work like that. I mean, the criticism of transformational leadership is that it can be too fluffy. That it's too focused in sort of big dreams, and you kind of need processes to keep things rolling and to actually make sure the money's coming in. So there's kind of room for both ends of the spectrum. And this is really relevant to you if you're thinking of getting a coach, to think about what kind of thing are you looking for? Are you looking for someone who's going to give you very straightforward systems? Are you looking for someone who says, okay, you need to install this app, you need to go to this store, you need to have this accounting system, and this will get you making the money you want to make? Or are you looking more for someone who's going to say, okay, what do you want to do? What are your goals? And help you, maybe introduce you to ideas that you didn't know existed, or help you find opportunities, or help you realize things that you didn't realize you wanted. These are two very different styles of leadership, but actually a good coach should kind of be able to balance the two and know when to use each style. There is scope for both the transactional leader, giving you the processes and concentrating on the systems, and there's scope for the blue sky thinking, the big picture, the creativity and innovation. Those are really important things. You kind of want someone who's going to get you pumped and motivated. But you don't want it just to be about that. You don't just, maybe you do, but there's a balance there. So let's expand this out a little bit and talk about different leadership styles. And there's a few I'm not going to bother talking about because they're not super helpful. There are some very abusive leadership styles. There are some very fruitless leadership styles. There are some very apathetic, weak leadership styles. And I'm not going to really cover those, but I'm going to talk about the four that I think all have aspects of usefulness in a coach. And I think what you're going to see is that some coaches very much focus on one of those styles, others kind of have a balance of all four aspects. And it kind of depends on you, which appeal to you, which you feel you need. So let's start with the first one. The first leadership style I'm going to talk about is the pace-setting coach. So this person is the person who leads by example. They don't have a lot of time for telling you how to do things. They don't really want to listen to how you do things. They're just going to show you what they do. They're going to go to the store and they're going to say, hey, watch me, I'm going to buy all these products. Or they're going to show you how they use like an online system to make money. It's very much you sit back and you watch them and you copy them. Which has pros and cons. They all have pros and cons. The pros of watching someone work is that it proves to you that it works. If they're doing it, if their figures are legit, if you've seen it happen, you know it can be done. That's awesome. That's really helpful. What's less helpful is that their circumstances or situation may not be relevant to yours. You have to be careful when people are throwing big money around. Where did they get that big money? Did they make that money themselves, or has it come from somewhere else? like you have to be very careful. Are they making a profit doing what they do? But as long as everything checks out, and as long as you have a way of emulating what they do, I mean, it's not going to work if you're watching a young, single, 20-year-old running around a store who runs marathons, and you have commitments at home, you're caring for people, you only have 4 hours a day to spare. That's not going to be a great fit, and that's probably going to leave you feeling a little bit depressed. So if you're going to go the pace setting route, if you're looking for a pace setter, that person kind of needs to be sensitive to you and to what your needs are. So that's the pace setting coach, the pros, the cons. The next type of coach I can talk about is the authoritative coach. So this person's interesting. This person has knowledge. That's like their key skill, is they bring knowledge, and they're going to share that with you. And they're going to say, all right, come with me. That's like the key phrase for an authoritative coach. Come with me. I'm going to show you how things are done. And they're going to share their knowledge with you. They're going to teach you what they do. The pace setting coach lets you watch what they do. The authoritative coach is going to tell you what they do. This works out really well if you are very confused, if you have no idea what you should be doing, and you really need someone to teach you. You're going to need someone with knowledge. You want someone who's going to answer your questions, and who's going to have the knowledge to answer your questions. The authoritative coach may not be good if you're already an expert, if you're already very well seasoned, or skilled in what you're doing. If you are in that situation and you're thinking of getting a coach, you're probably looking more for someone who's going to inspire you and motivate you rather than tell you how things are done. Whereas if you're newer, if you're like a newbie to selling, you probably want someone who's going to bring you knowledge and teach you. So that's the authoritative coach. The third style I'm going to talk about is the affiliative coach. This has nothing to do with like affiliate schemes or anything like that. It means affiliate in the terms of kindness, bonding, empathy. The affiliate coach or the affiliative coach is kind of your friend. They're going to listen. They're going to be the most empathic person. They're going to listen to your story and tailor everything to you. So you're looking for sort of kindness, bonding, empathy. They're gonna still hopefully bring knowledge, they're still hopefully going to show you examples, but their key skill is going to be listening to you and working very directly with you. They're going to be very reassuring. And this is really good if you're very unsure of what you're doing, if you're very nervous, if you're scared, if you're like physically or emotionally having difficulties getting into what you're doing, or you've been through a trauma, or something like that, then you probably are going to look for an affiliative coach. I mean, you can think about this in terms of other areas. Like if you go to a dentist and you're very scared, their bedside manner and their kindness might actually be more important to you than which university they went to or what their skills are. Because, I mean, those things are still going to be important, but probably the biggest thing you're looking for is someone who's going to be nice to you and hold your hand. So that's the third style, the affiliative coach. The fourth style, and this one's kind of funny because this is like the coaching coach. So we've had pace setting, authoritative, or affiliative. This one is the coaching coach. The coaching coach is all about challenging you. They kind of have the most in common with like a sports coach because they want to drive you to the next level. They want you to step up your game, and they're going to encourage you. They're going to say, hey, what are your goals? How are you getting on? What have you done this week? And they're going to push you, encourage you to try things, step out of your comfort zone. It's all about the challenge. And this, honestly, the coaching coach is probably the person who's going to help you step your business up. They're going to get you out of your comfort zone, and that's probably moving more into the transformational leadership style. Where you're really thinking in terms of the bigger picture, you're thinking more in terms of change, growth, and what else can I do? Like, at some point, you may even feel you need to move off Amazon, you need to move to another platform, you need to move to another job, there may be bigger changes in your life. So that would be the coaching coach. Is probably going to drive you to really see what's right for you, and once you've established your goals, they're going to give you that push. How are you getting on towards your goals? So I would say that there is an argument for all four styles. And I think if you have a very smart coach, a very intuitive coach, they're going to understand all those four styles and kind of know how to use them. I would be wary of picking just one. I would be wary of picking someone who's super nice to you but doesn't know anything. I would be very wary of someone who just wants to show you everything but can't teach you. I would be very wary of someone who wants to teach you but doesn't care what you know. The best kind of coach is going to bring a balance of those things and focus them on you. So coaching can be all of these things. It can be teaching, it can be guidance, it can be motivation. It can be, hey, have you considered these ideas? How are you getting on? It can be a gentle push. It can be inspiration. It can be a lot of things. It's not generally therapy. There's a point where you might need to talk to a therapist if you're having very severe emotional issues. A good coach will be sympathetic to your emotional issues and take them into account when working with you to decide with you what you can do. But it's not therapy. Sometimes you need a lawyer or an accountant or a tax consultant. If you need practical advice and you want someone to teach you practical things or show you how to do very practical things, make sure that person actually can do those things. Sometimes you need to hire a professional. If you need legal advice, just hire a lawyer. If you need tax or accounting advice, hire a professional, hire an accountant, because that's like professional skills or help. And that's kind of true also if you're doing something very technical within Amazon or within sales. If you have very specific Amazon needs, such as like dealing with flat files or ungating or something like that, look for someone who's a specialist. If you want someone to just work with you and find your business plan and work with you on developing your business plan, then a more general coach is a good idea. So I can talk about what I do. I don't coach very often. I've coached small sellers, I've coached some very big sellers, and it's kind of interesting because everyone really has their own needs, whether they're small or big. That doesn't really determine what your coaching style needs to be. It's not really whether the person is a small seller or a big seller. But I find that what I tend to do if I'm coaching someone, the first thing I want to know is what they're doing. All about where they are, their baseline. How long have you been selling? How's it going? What are you selling? Where are you selling? All those things. And then I tend to skip to what's your blue sky thinking? What are your dreams? What are your hopes? And it's okay if you don't know. It's okay if you make it up. It's okay if you're just, well, I've thought about doing this one day. And then I start weeding it down as well, finding out what your current goals are, what your short-term goals are. And we start working towards those. How can we make those happen? How can we make the short-term goals happen? And how can we think about the big goals? Is there a way to kind of incorporate that as well? And that's kind of my coaching style. I'm very much led by whoever I'm working with. I will try and introduce ideas. If they're doing something and I've got an idea for another way of trying it or another way of doing it, I will say, hey, have you thought about doing this? My specialist skills are pretty much across the board in Amazon and creating listings in marketing. So I will answer questions and teach in those areas. I don't do things like accounting and law and tax. Those you need a specialist. I can help with the basics of, hey, this is how we can make money. This is how we can make sure we're making a profit. But specialist knowledge, I would tend to refer. But I tend to be very much focused about what you want and what you need. What you can expect when you hire a coach. Everyone has their own pricing structures and how often they like to teach or coach. Some people will talk to you once a week. Some people want to talk to you more often, less often. Sometimes you might just want to hire a coach for one session, and that's absolutely fine. I've done quite a lot of that. Just, hey, Catherine, can you walk me through this? Can you help me? Can you hold my hand while I do this thing in Amazon? Or can you just talk to me and tell me I'm on the right lines, or give me some ideas where I'm going wrong? I love doing those. I love just chatting to someone for an hour, helping them out. And I think sometimes people look to a coach for validation. I've used the term permission in the past, but I think it's more about validation, that they want to know, hey, am I doing things right? Is this okay, what I'm doing? And sometimes, especially with things like arbitrage, it can feel like a crazy thing. Reselling can feel crazy. No one else is doing it. Everyone else is going to their jobs. So sometimes some reassurance that you're doing it right can be very, very helpful. I tend to do video chat. I like using Skype or FaceTime, or I use Room.co as well. That's a great one, coaches. If you look at Room.co, it's a very easy way of talking to people. And sometimes I'll do telephone conversations. But personally, I find I like to be able to look at you, so I can screen share, so I can see what you're doing. If you say, hey, Catherine, I've got this product that I want to sell, I can actually look at it. So I do prefer video chat. Yeah, I think that's pretty much what I've got to say about coaching. Pick someone who's right for you. If you want someone who's going to push you, who's going to give you a boot and say, come on, do this, that's great. If you want someone who's going to be kind to you, just look for people who are going to click with you. Look at what they've done. Look at their books, look at their videos, get reviews or get comments from people who've been coached by them. If you're looking for someone with a lot of knowledge, make sure they have that knowledge, make sure they've been coaching, or make sure they've been doing what they say they've been doing. Look at their selling history. Make sure that they've been selling at a level that you're happy with, for a length of time that you're happy with. Make sure that they know the whole cycle that you're interested in, and can teach that. If you want a pace-setting coach, make sure they have a similar outlook to you. Make sure that they're a good fit. If you're housebound, don't go and find a coach that's going to run around Walmart all night. If you don't like technology, then find a coach that's probably not going to be focused on installing software and using cool coding tricks. Just find someone that's a good fit for you. Okay, that was my information about coaching. There's a lot of free information out there. We all know that there is huge amounts of free information. There are videos, there are books, there's YouTube. YouTube is full of free information. I've made several videos about Amazon that are free. I've also made paid information. And just because someone sticks a price tag on something doesn't mean it actually has that value. Make sure that recommendations are real. Make sure that people aren't recommending things to you just because they get a kickback. The affiliate business is huge. I'm kind of on the fence about affiliate work. I don't like recommending things because I get a kickback. I like recommending things because I trust the person, or I think they bring something useful. One thing I feel very strongly about is that this is about people's lives. If you invest in a coach, you invest in paid help or paid education. This is your life. This is you need reliable information. You need someone trustworthy. So I'm very on the fence about doing affiliate work. I know a lot of people are just, hey, be positive, be positive. Edison kept trying to make the light bulb and he failed a million times, but, you know, Edison killed his assistant trying to make the X-ray. So I'm just, be careful out there and talk to people that you trust. Okay, I hope this was super helpful to you. Always talk to your coach, make sure they're trustworthy, and make sure they're a good fit for you. Alright, hope this was helpful to you. Bye! Oh, and coaches, make sure your client is a good fit. Make sure you have something to help them with before you take them on as a client. Okay, that was my video about coaching. Hopefully it was helpful to you. Have a great night. Love you all. Bye!